Hey there. It's the 10th of March 2019. I'm doing the illumination for the week of March 11th through the 17th. Like, wow, we're moving along at a clapping rate here. So what is it that we need to know? I'm consulting the Illuminating Journey Cards that I created with the help of the Akashic Records. And the cards are ready. I've asked the question. And I'm Jen Deshen of jendeshen.com. And if you're interested in the cards, you can get your own pack at jendeshen.com/illuminating journey cards. Let's see what the week holds. Wow. So here we have the same card we had last week, which I find really fascinating and which tells me that we're not done kind of peeling back the layers. In this card here, we have not only the figure with this light coming through, but there is also this here, which is where my eye is drawn here. And I don't know if you can see that this is a pool in here that is full of kind of things growing. I know last time I looked over here, or at some point I looked at the back here, and it feels like there's a figure here that's kind of drawing our attention to, kind of in this pool of creation. What are we creating? Like, what are we eliminating? What are we creating? If you think about this card in terms of tears, right? In terms of water and liquid and letting go and freeing ourselves from our sorrows, our pain, and being cleansed and purged. What is rising? It's like this pool has been emptied and there's all kinds of stuff that's showing up at the bottom. There's things that have grown and it has its own beauty, right? So there's definitely something here. I feel the strength of this calling us into the awareness. Like, we cannot look away from what is important to us right now. We are coming into a time where we're focusing on what matters. Interesting enough, the number 18, of course, 1 and 8 makes 9. 9 is a key number and is kind of activating the emotional aspects, because 9 is about unconditional love, forgiveness, connecting with people. And of course, remembering that when we connect with people, the first thing we have to do is connect with ourselves, connect with that energy that comes from, the universe, from source. And here this figure is sitting in the energy of the earth, right? Water. It's the primal energy. It's where we come from in terms of being born. We're born in water. Our being comes alive in water. We have many stories in our mythology about women or people, beings rising out of water, being born out of water. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's interesting. I see another figure below here, kind of, it's this energy of rising into this new world, being birthed into this, and being birthed into a sense of truth. Because the 18 is a number, I actually call it, it's kind of the shifting of the ego, or dropping that kind of egoic take on life into a lower level, and allowing the sense of who we are, our connection, to be more focused. So we're not ego driven. So there's a lot of surrender that needs to happen, a recognition of our passion and on our truth, and maybe even a recognition of the energy we need to bring about change within us, right? To change the world, we must change ourselves. And what does that mean? We have to release old habits. We have to release that kind of idea, like, I don't want to do that. This is too hard, or I'm going to make people do it my way. All of this stuff. And I just see all of these, like, like flowers, like bursting into birth in this water here. So it feels like very powerful, very sacred, very moving. But it is also kind of tearing apart or draining out the old stuff. So we begin to feel the storm of what's around us, and how water shapes us and helps us shape our lives, and changes us, right? The quality of water, it changes us. So it feels very powerful, and it's interesting we have the same card twice. And then we have this card, which is the 17. Now we just had the 18, which is a 9, and now we have 17, which is an 8, 8, 9. And of course, this week ends on the 17th, so there's quite a kind of profound idea of going from kind of moving back the ego, like kind of bringing ourselves into that emotional pool of forgiveness and unconditional love and kindness and recognizing other people, and moving to the 17. And the 17 is considered the legacy number. It's also about success, being inspired to create success. And of course, an 8 is the infinity symbol that reminds us that as above, so below. So whatever we're creating or manifesting on earth must be tied to something spiritual. It also must be connected in some way to the earth. So a recognition of the different layers. And this card here, what's striking me here very much is this pool of the 8, which has all these reflection and water. Once again, we're being pulled into this idea of water and ether and kind of the steam that rises from when we're when water is changing, or it's flowing through, what's coming through, the invisible, the light, the unseen that's influencing us, our emotions. Over here, it looks like there's like, I don't know, like boats or waterfalls. It just feels like there's a lot of movement happening, like things are becoming exposed, but also giving us opportunity. So I definitely feel like there is a sense of opportunity happening here, and the idea of us seeking or seeing what we have as the treasure. Like there's a lot of treasure in creating what we already have, with what we already have, right? So instead of kind of dropping, or we often have that idea that we should drop what is true, drop what's around us so that we can go engage with something new. What this card is saying is that to pay attention to what is in front of us. What do we have that we can work with? How do we kind of bring this into a different energy? How do we see what we have in a different light and begin to engage with this energy that's coming in, this ether, the invisible, the water, the steam, the energy that's just flowing into our existence. And here's some more kind of cloudy energy with this planet and all of this. Just there's a lot of movement happening, and the idea is to focus on what we need to focus on, right? Let's see what is true for us so we can kind of activate the legacy we're building. And then fascinating, here we have a 4. So this is, for those of you who don't know, these cards there's 3 different types of cards in this deck, and this is one of the numbers. And the number 4 is fascinating because it's a number that uses the triangle and grounds that, or inspiration that grounds us into the earth. It is an earth number. It is also a manifesting number like the 8. This is about making things real. It's about attending to the details, to discipline and devotion, the things we say we want, right? Like this, if we look at the first card, this is about kind of washing away the illusion, right? Where the illusion is being washed away. There's things coming out, like I talked about, new things rising that are being exposed. So we're getting clearer about what is true for us beyond our ego. And then having this number that tells us to allow this energy that's around us, the water, the steam, and all of this water, snow, whatever that is coming in, to kind of re-look at what is there for us, that what we can work with to create this new reality. Like, what will bring us success? What can we materialize? And then to have the number here, the 4, which is this number about uh, um, bringing our inspiration to work, putting it to work, laying down roots, starting a new plan, focusing, and being that devoted, intentional being that is like, I know what I need to do. I've got to focus on kind of showing up. Even if I don't know exactly what this looks like, I got to show up. I've got to do the thing. I've got to put these pieces in place. I have to remember that my job here is to take what inspires me and find a place for it, right? Be inspired in the work I do, be of service in this way, and disciplined. So it's a very interesting combination, having this energy of this 4. That's interesting. Like when you see it this way, look, it looks like a 4 again, right? And then you really do see the triangle with the line coming down. This is a very focused energy here. It's like you have this much to work with, you have this thing you're doing, so get to work. Like, start planning, start figuring out where the foundation is. What do you need to do to go to the next level? What do you like for me personally, I know I need to get out more. So what am I doing? I'm going every day on Facebook and doing a Facebook Live. I don't know exactly. There's nothing I can say, okay, that's my plan, but my plan is to do that so that I can feel more comfortable and then go to the next step. So sometimes it's as simple as that, just showing up every day, or showing up in new places, or showing up differently and just going, right, I got to get to work. I'm going to roll up my sleeves. Who's with me on this? Who do I need to partner with? What do I need to do next? It's a step-by-step process. And we have to remember too that we're in a 12-year this year, on the universal scale, 2 + 1 + 9. And with 12, we have the 1, 2, and the 3. So we know this whole year is about step-by-step process. It's also about completion. We're completing things. So we're allowing ourselves to grieve, to recognize our pain, and to come to terms with it. Okay, this underneath all our grief, under our pain, is this beauty that's arising that we have to put to work. So that's the 4. And I'm just going to pull one more, and I think this is really for this week. The question is, what do we need to know for this week? And I think it's pretty clear. We know we're being asked to surrender some old ideas. Just let them go, let them be washed away, so we can see what's underneath. Allow everything to drain out and to be released, so we can actually see what we're working with. We've been in some kind of illusion or delusion, most of us, for a long time. So when we get to see what there really is, we can kind of go, okay, this is what I have, right? Remembering the 17 card, this is what I have, this is what I have to work with. Let me look at this. Let me really look at what I have. And she's holding like a flashlight or something, looking down at what's available to her. And this is it. What do I have right here that I can work with? What's mine to do? And then getting down and actually doing it. And let's see what this final card is. And this is interesting. Here's a 16. So in the traditional tarot, 16 is the tower, the card of the tower. I always see this card as something that's very much about us approaching the energy of the divine. This is the divine in form, and us approaching this kind of energy in this hidden cave beneath the earth. And we're committing to something, right? We're going, right, I remember who I am. So this message is being transmitted, and we're going on our quest. Like, we're getting information, and we're like, okay, right, this is what I have to do. This is what I'm committing to in order to become more of who I am. We have the lightning strike energy coming in and awakening us up to our intuition, to what's invisible, and so that we are ready to chart a new course, willing to take on our true vocation, what we're here to do. So all of these steps this week is about this, coming back to that energy of what is the journey, what is the commitment we're making right now. And of course, this is a 7, so we have a 7, 8, and 9, plus the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we also have 6 of this number. Anyway, this month, so there's a lot of numbers involved, but basically I find it interesting that the 3 soul portal cards are 7, 8, and 9. So this is about being inspired, resting, listening, coming back to what's true for us, recognizing what we need to do to lead ourselves into a different situation, and then have that experience of connecting to the world in a different way. So allowing ourselves to be true to who we are. Right, so that's basically this week's read. And as I mentioned, I'm Jen Duchenne, and you can find me at jenduchenne.com. Please like the video if you like it, and what's the word? Subscribe to my channel, so you'll get all the videos. I'm going to be doing more videos, and I'll see you next week. Oh, and if you get a different experience, or you want to share with me what came up for you around what I shared, I would love to hear that. So you can find me at jenduchenne.com or Facebook. Just look up my name, Jen Duchenne.